Okay, welcome to The Explainer. You know, we all have that friend, and hey, maybe it's you, who is totally obsessed with finding the healthy option everywhere you go. They are trying to do everything right. But what if that super clean meal has a really dark secret?
Oh, absolutely. Just picture it. You're out for a nice dinner and you order the beautiful seared ahi tuna salad. Or maybe it's sushi night and you're diving into a spicy tuna roll. You feel amazing about it, right? Lean protein, omega-3s. It is the poster child for healthy eating.
But here's the kicker. That seemingly perfect, healthy meal, it might actually be poisoning your brain and totally sapping your energy. I know, it sounds completely insane, but the science here is pretty solid. The big question is, how is that even possible?
Well, it all boils down to your dinner's dark secret. And let's be super clear. We are not saying fish is bad for you. It's an amazing food. But some of the fish we love the most are hiding this invisible risk that just quietly builds up over time.
And that risk, it has a name. Mercury. It's this nasty, heavy metal, a potent neurotoxin that has unfortunately made its way into our oceans and waterways. And certain fish, especially those big predatory ones we love to grill up, they act like little sponges, just soaking it up and concentrating it in their tissue.
So how does this invisible invader work its way up from being a pollutant in the water to a serious problem sitting on your dinner plate? The way it happens is actually pretty straightforward and, honestly, kind of scary when you think about it.
It's all about a process called bioaccumulation. Here's how it goes down. Mercury gets into the water. Tiny little organisms absorb it. Then a small fish comes along and eats a bunch of those organisms. Then a bigger fish eats hundreds of those small fish. And finally, a top predator, like a big tuna, spends its long life eating thousands of those medium-sized fish. See what's happening? At every single step up the food chain, the mercury gets more and more concentrated. So by the time that tuna steak hits your plate, it can be loaded with this stuff.
Okay, so the mercury is now in your system. What's it doing? To really get the damage, you have to meet the main target, your mitochondria. I want you to think of these as the tiny little power plants that are inside almost every single cell in your body. Their entire job is to create the energy that you need to, well, to live. They literally power your entire existence.
And this is where mercury acts like a complete saboteur. First, it goes right in and blocks energy production. It's like throwing a wrench into the gears of those power plants. It also triggers something called apoptosis, which is basically telling your healthy cells to just self-destruct. Not good. It also creates a ton of oxidative stress. You can think of that like cellular rust. And it completely drains your body's most important antioxidant, glutathione. And the end game? Direct damage to your brain and your nerves, because they are incredibly hungry for energy and super vulnerable to this kind of attack. Wow, that science is pretty intense. But what does that cellular damage actually feel like in real life? This gets us to a really important point: learning to listen to your body. Is it possible that those vague, annoying symptoms that you just blame on stress or getting older are actually your body screaming for help? Just take a look at this list for a second. Does any of this sound familiar? That fatigue that just won't go away no matter how much you sleep. That brain fog where you're constantly losing your train of thought. Aches and pains you can't explain. Maybe a low mood or anxiety. You know, functional medicine doctors see this exact cluster of symptoms over and over again in people dealing with a heavy toxic load from metals like mercury. And that's the whole issue, isn't it? The reason this gets missed all the time is because mercury doesn't cause just one big, obvious symptom. Nope. It causes this whole mix of weird, low-grade problems because it's messing with the most basic function in your body, making energy. It's basically hiding in plain sight. Okay, so that was the heavy stuff, the bad news. But here's the good news, and it is really good. The solution is actually way simpler than you'd think. This is not about giving up fish forever. Not at all. It's about making one simple change: the smart seafood swap. Here's the hack. You just swap the big fish at the top of the food chain for the little guys lower down. So that means you're going to eat less of the big predators like tuna, swordfish, and shark, and you're going to eat more of the smaller, oilier fish. And the best way to remember the good guys is with this awesome acronym, SMASH. That's salmon, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, and herring.
So why SMAsh? Is this brilliant 2-for-1 deal? First, because these fish are smaller and they don't live as long, they just don't have the time to build up a big load of mercury. It's that simple. And second, they are absolutely loaded with those anti-inflammatory omega-3s that your brain just loves. So you're getting fewer toxins and way more nutrients. It's a total win-win.
All right, so you've made the swap. That is a fantastic first step. Seriously, that's number one. But if you want to give your body a little extra support to help deal with any toxins that are already hanging around, you can absolutely level up your detox game.
Think of this as your daily defense toolkit. First up, you've got fiber and binders, like chlorella. These guys literally act like magnets in your gut, grabbing onto toxins and making sure they get shown the door. Next, you want to boost that glutathione. Remember, the antioxidant that mercury wipes out? You can do that with supplements or just by eating plenty of protein. And finally, fill your plate with cruciferous veggies. We're talking broccoli, kale, cauliflower. They give your liver the raw materials it needs to run its own powerful detox system.
Okay, let's lock this all in. Here are the key takeaways. Number 1, big fish are mercury magnets. 2, that mercury goes after your cellular power plants, and that tanks your energy. 3, this can show up as things like fatigue, brain fog, and those mystery aches. 4, the simple fix, swap the big fish for the little SMASH fish. And 5, help your body's cleanup crew with things like fiber and the right veggies.
So we'll leave you with this final thought. We tend to obsess over the kind of fuel we put in our cars, but do we ask the same critical questions about the fuel we put into our bodies? Every single meal you eat is a choice. It can either be building you up or it could be slowly breaking you down. So you have to ask yourself, what's in your tank?